Welcome to Center Hice Productions. It is September 30th. No, I'm actually sorry. It is October 1st. Anyway, please hit the likes and subscribe below. That would be muchly appreciated. Let's try to get 150 likes. And please subscribe. And I'd muchly appreciate your assistance trying to get the numbers up so that we can get them up much higher and get a good following. Anyway, this is a review of Saturday night's game on the 30th. That's where I got confused there with the date. And it was the Leafs in Montreal again for game 2. This time we had closer, some stars. We had Suzuki and Caulfield in the lineup. Anyway, I'll give the lineups here. Our first line consisted of Caulfield, Suzuki, and Newhook. Second line was Harvey Pinard, Doc, and Slab. Third line was Hice, Anderson, Kidney, and Heineman. Fourth line was Pezzetta, Malad, and Farrell. Our defense pairings were Gooley and Reinbacker, Trudeau, Kovacevic, and third pairing was Norlander and Barron. And Monbeau was in, and so was Dobbs, whatever you want to call him. Dobish seems to be the pronunciation I'm hearing a lot. Or I believe he's Czechoslovakian. Anyway, so it was a better showing. However, the Leafs had a better showing too. So once again, Nyes burnt us. He started out the scoring. He had assistance tonight. Another player that seemed to come to task also was Minter, and he seemed to be the second player that seemed to have a bit of a groove going for the Leafs. And he got the second goal. Robertson got kind of lucky. I was kind of disappointed on that third goal in the sense that Trudeau played a really good game, except for that play. He should have taken the penalty and took the dive. Had he taken the dive, he would have prevented the goal. So, and then of course, in the third, we got our goal from Gooley, which was a nice goal. And so it ended up 3-1. And Gooley's goal was assisted by Kovacevic, which was a beautiful feed-through pass. And just the presence of catching Gooley heading up that offensive spark. I think what we're figuring, people need to wake up. Gooley's a lot more offensive than we realize. I think he can be much more of an offensive threat when he gets that partner. So him and Reinbacker, this might be kind of a good setup, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I say, I think this is a good pairing because then Gooley can explore his offensive side, I think, and he did quite well in it in the juniors, and people are forgetting that. There's a lot more offense to Gooley than you think. And so, by far, it was a shame. Again, Monty still doesn't look sharp to me right now. Although, again, the first period, I mean, Jones just stood on his head for the Leafs. So that might be an improvement in their goaltending. Maybe they can get over the hump and get a cup. The way he stood on his head, he did quite well because we did come out firing on all cylinders. We shot them quite drastically in the first period. Things settled down in the second, but they still managed to be scoring on us. Montembeault couldn't stop even the lesser amounts coming at him to match Jones. He just was no match for Jones whatsoever. And Dobish came in and he played quite well. And I'll say it again. This kid, to me, out of all the goaltenders, him and Miller him especially, because he faced a lot. The game he lost to Buffalo, I never held it against him because he stood on his head. I think that score would have been through the roof if he hadn't have been in the net. So I think this kid's got something going on. He's been more pleasant of a surprise than Montembeault, Allen, who both have been struggling, if you ask me. And Primo has struggled until Friday night's game, where although that was kind of iffy, but it was his best performance. But he was left out to hang dry. It was only 2-1, so it's not like he gave up a massive landslide of goals. So that's why I said he performed quite well. But that was his best performance. Still, I don't know if it's enough to get him anywhere here, unless they're going to go with a 3-goaltender rotation and give him that shot and see how he does. But I kind of foresee him going on waivers and getting picked up. But that Dobich, this guy to me, with Fowler, I think that's going to be a 1-2 punch. Fowler may be the starter, but I think Dobich will be a great backup for him. I won't underestimate Dobich either. He looked quite good tonight. He was quite steady and didn't get beaten. And there was no doubt for Montreal, hands down, Caden Gooley was by far the best player out there for the Habs. This was the Caden Gooley I was waiting for. So it just shows you that the rust had to wear off. It wasn't that he was bad. It's just he got a lot better. This was the Caden Gould we're used to. Was great defensively in his own zone, and him and Reinbacher. Reinbacher was laying a bit of the body as well, toughened up his game. I think it's a good asset to have him with Gooley. He sees how Gooley plays the physical game, so he's starting to throw that body, and that body's a big body, and good to see him get physical. He played well. He was steady. I give for an 18-year-old, he played well. Can't knock him. Trudeau played well. Had that one burp that he should have made the dive. Just a bad judgment call, because that's the time you take a penalty. And I think that's something he needs to learn. Kasevich played much better, more like Kasevich. And that was good to see. They looked a little more together. Now, Norlinder, to me, I gave him a little bit of praise earlier because he shocked me a couple nights ago. I think it was in Ottawa. He had a good game there. But tonight you really noticed why he's not NHL material. I think he can be. I still think he's got to keep working, and he's the type of guy I think he's got, a good offensive approach, but I think they gave him tons of chances, which, I just think there's other guys that could do more with it. I just found he was weaker tonight. His freckles were showing tonight, and Barron was a bit sloppy tonight too. He was, he had some good moments, but had a lot of bad moments. So that's why I say, for me, the bench pairings should pretty much be what they were last year. Mayu's got to go to Laval to work on his defensive game. As much as he looks good offensively, his defensive game needs a fair amount of work. But he will be there. I think next year or towards the end of the season he could be. Reinbacher, that's a tough one, because that's one that you could say, do they ask him, does he want to stick around? Because to tell you the truth, he could fit in. That's the scary part. I think it might be better for him to go and do what he wants, just so he can tie the ends off to his schooling and have a good year of lots of minutes. That's not messed with. They don't need to rush him, but he's quite capable of being there. So that could be tricky, depending on what management and they conclude. But however, to me, it's clear as day. Defense is decided. It's Matheson and Gooley. And Gooley will be your number one defenseman in the future. There's no doubt in my mind. It'll be who's with him. And, in worst case scenario, you get to end up with two or three guys that should be first defensemen. And that'd be a good problem to have because he's either going to be, I believe he'll be the first pairing. It's going to depend a lot on Lane Hudson's future. Although I still see Lane being better a bit with being a second pairing defenseman when he gets there. However, anyway, we got great problems there. It's clear to me, though, I noticed something tonight. If we go with what we had, so that's Matheson, Gooley, Harris, Savard, Jacky, and Kusevich. Here's a little bit of a dilemma. Trudeau. He's either going to be great trade bait, or do you give him the shot? If can he work on the right side is the question. He's not going to knock anybody on the left side. He's good, and he'll be great trade bait. But if he wants to stay with the Habs, will he be able to? Should he be given the chance on the right side? I think he should, and that'll really put the heat on Kasevich and Lindstrom, which to me Lindstrom's got to go to the AHL. Sorry, just the way it is. Because, like I said, you have your pairings that I just mentioned, and that being with Barron as your seventh defenseman, but with the possibility of Trudeau if they give him a shot on the right side. So that'll be the question. Your defense. I think your offense is getting pretty. Tonight, like I say, the first line played all right. They played better. They played an all right game. They looked good together. Newhook's speed, especially at the beginning there, was just phenomenal. He's got such speed. But Suzuki and Caulfield had a good game. Caulfield really impressed me. Just starting to see his checking game is improving immensely. It was funny to watch. Who was it? I want to say it could have been Barron. Miss his check and not take the body. And Caulfield came back and laid the body on it, and he laid it good. Where the big guy, the bigger player, didn't do anything. Or it might have actually been Kasevich. Actually, it was Kasevich, and he missed his check. He tried to check him, and the guy got by him. He ended up hitting the boards, but Caulfield laid on the body. You could see the strength in his checks. Now they're starting to be effective, whereas before he'd bounce off. But no, I was quite impressed. Caulfield, I like what I've seen out of him tonight, and he's such a spark plug. So that line to me was good. However, I don't know if that's permanent. That's the line I think is going to be together at the beginning of the season. Now, I think it's going to stay together? That's hard to say. We got to see if it's going to mesh. We'll see. It's hard to say. There's a couple other choices. You got Monahan. We know can play there, but he's slower. You don't want to mess up with Kirby Dach. People keep going, oh, throw Kirby there. That's a dumb thing when you got a perfect guy to be, a 1 and 2 center. Let the guy be on this, so we have a second threat. And tonight, that's it. That was the other player that was awesome. It was Gooley and Dach. Dach was the offensive star by far. Okay, so that being said, the first line was fairly good. Line 2, I found Heineman was much better tonight than I've seen him. Because like I said in the previous video, he hadn't shown me for some reason. He wasn't like last preseason a year ago. So I didn't see that grabbing the bull by the horns, but he played a much better game. He was kind of dangerous, and he was putting on the body. He got hit. And Kidney had a great game. Those two had a good game on that line. Elias Anderson doesn't do it for me. Just seeing he had a spark here and there, but overall, he just didn't seem to fit, and I'm not sold on him. Maybe you keep him as an extra player, um, you know, for a roster move to switch guys up in the night at different games. But to me, I'd send him to Laval, see what happens, and then you had the fourth line. So, like I said, uh, I missed HP and Doc and Slab. That line was fairly good. Doc was, like I said, the offensive player of the night out of all the offense. He was the standout by far, by far. Even though the first line was good, Doc was better, and he was good defensively. He was just everywhere. HP had a good game. Slav, this was I found the last couple games were better than this one out of him. He's got to get his feet moving. Tonight, I found his feet were, he was his feet. He was just standing around a little more than he has in the last few games, and I didn't like that trend. He's got to move his feet, so that's why I'm concerned. Because they haven't even seen the best of Toronto yet, so I'm concerned. I'm still on the page. I'm not convinced yet. He has improved. I'm not 100% convinced, although will it crush his confidence? That's the problem. But I still think Laval. That's just me. A year, I think it would do him good. He could come up through the year. But I think he needs some work, and he needs top minutes to realize he's got to keep those feet moving. He's a good player when he keeps moving. He was throwing the body. I like that change in him. So there's a lot of good pluses about Slab. I just think there's a couple things. Sometimes he looks lost, and sometimes it's the feet aren't moving. So he's behind the play. He's got to stop that. He's got to keep those. Somebody's got to get that through his head. Keep your feet moving. So that line was all right. HP. He's always his effort is there. I get a kick. I was amazed that for as little of a guy as he is, he's the guy who you could guarantee was going to the front of the net, which I like to see. And like I said, Heineman had some good looks tonight. He had some good shots. And Kidney played a great game. I thought this was a good effort by Kidney. I don't think it's enough to get him on the team, unfortunately. And like I say, I'm about to tell you. And then we had, like I said, Gooley, Reinbacker played great. Trudeau had a good game except for that one cough up where he should have took the penalty. And Kasevich had an okay game. Norlinder and Barron didn't impress me. Montembeault didn't impress me. Dobish impressed me. He did quite well. Quite well. He made some very nice saves for a kid. Although he's going to be headed to Laval. But again, once again, Nyes burns us. I wish somehow we could trade for that guy. If they would just let him go, that would never happen. I don't know how Toronto in recent years, they have done very well in their drafting. I have to say it. Even this Minter kid didn't look bad. Robertson, he's questionable to me. But anyway, that's the end of that game. So it ended up 3-1. But I think we got big problems in that area. We're just no match for Toronto. They're just too deep, and we haven't even seen their stars yet. So that's the way that went. Better performance. We did put some effort out. You had a hot goaltender. That's for sure, because in that first period we could have had a couple more goals easily. So we gotta guess that part of it. Just some weak goals that we let in, and that's what disturbs me with Montembeault. He's just not showing that Montembeault he showed when Allen went down. So I don't think we have it decided who the starter is. Now the next thing I wanted to get to, there's a lot of news. The cuts came out today, and maybe I was kind of surprised because I had Bois as one of the guys that I thought should have a chance of staying. Kind of surprised me. So you may be surprised. I'm just going to list them off to you. How this worked out. Okay, these are the guys that were put on waivers. Condada, I like Condada. But he's not going to make it to the team. Stevens, see ya. Not my type. He's just not there at all. Defense, Nick Baudin is on waivers as well. Brady Keeper was on waivers as well. Those guys right there, no big loss. They're not going to make the team at any point. Okay, then we got teams that were sent, or guys that are being sent to Laval after the waiver bunch I just mentioned, and that's Bork. Davidson, that shocked me. That was the other one that shocked me. I guess that's spectacular. I was kind of surprised that this week he'll be going. I believe they said Monday. All these guys will go to Laval. Uh, so Bork is gone. Davison is going. Dufort is going. Gignac is gone. Laguerre is going. McKay is going. Nassar is going to Laval. So we have that answered. Mysack which is good for Nassar because they were debating on whether to put him in the juniors again. But he had peaked where I think they realize he's at the professional level. So let's get him some professional with lots of minutes experience. And I think next year he'll make the team. Mysack, like I said, he looked good in what do you call it, the prospects, but started weakening as it started coming from their red and white. And then, of course, as they started playing NHL teams, he started showing the signs of why he's not right now ready. It's not, I do think he's capable in down the road making the NHL. I don't think it's going to be with the Habs. I think he'll be trade bait. He's too small. We got too many small guys. We're going to have to use some of them to trade off. Get some talent back. Novak's gone. Laval Roy is gone, which shocked me because he was probably the best performer. One of the best. Him and Davison were the best performers in my books up front. And then Simoneau was gone, and he was all right. I don't see him making the NHL though. Similanic was all right, but they're all going to Laval. Alex Oliver Royer is going to Laval. Nolan Yannico, he's going. And that's all your forwards that are going to Laval. There's quite a few that were cut. Now we go to the defense. T. Bisson's going, no biggie. S. Demons going, no biggie. O. Oliver Galapierre going. If I said that right, I probably butchered it. Lagoon is going. If I'm saying Laonin is going. Ortez is going. Big J.P. Jones is going. Struble is going. Tournier is going. And I see out of that whole batch, more so being Struble and Tournier that I can see being NHLers down the road. Although I don't think they're going to be able to cut Montreal. Tournier being too small, and Struble, I just think it's just too heavy on the left side. And then after that, you got your goalies that are going down to Laval as well. Is that Edmund, S. Mann, and Verbatic are going. And shocking, this shocked me. This was the other surprise. They're sending Beck back to the juniors. That really, really surprised me. I didn't think there was much he could get there. I thought he was going to Laval. Maybe they feel his size. He's not big enough yet because those games are hard in Laval. So, the Habs are now down to 20 forwards, 13 defense, and 5 goalies. So there will be more cuts, and it may come after tonight. But I just wanted to let you know what they were. If you hadn't heard of all those names, I give you those. That makes this tape a little longer. But anyway, thank you for joining me. And like I say, it was a better performance. We really should have come out fared better because the first period we came out flying. And we didn't play a bad game. I do think this could have been easily, had things gone right in the first and Jones not been so hot, we easily could have been going into overtime in this game. So I'm convinced of that. So I did, like I said, I liked a couple of lines there. I was really, and like I say, I did see finally uh, him Heineman show up, and he had a half decent game, and that line was it was fairly good, to tell you the truth. I really liked the effort was better. Let's put it that way. So for me, him and Kidney seem to have something there, but I wish they would have had a different winger like Waugh. I think that would have been a nice touch. Oh, Pizzetta and Mallet and Farrell, that was a terrible line. That even Pizzetta came out and he started all right, but I think it's with the two other guys brought him down. That line just was putrid. And Sean Farrell, I don't know how he did not get sent back to Laval. That one's way over my head. Would you send Waugh? Waugh was way better than Sean Farrell. So there's no doubt in my mind Farrell has to be getting caught. He's not NHL material. Maybe he can do it. Like I told you, he's a Charles Houdon type. So it's hard to say. But if he does, it won't be in Montreal. We got too many small guys now as it is, and there's better players ahead of him that can easily take that. Even Mysak, I just see he has a better chance than him. But anyway, that being said, thank you for joining me. That was all of that I wanted to try to get out. I apologize for the previous tape getting out late. But like I said, at least this was a much better performance. But still shows you we're no match for Toronto. And we didn't face their stars. They're just wait till they have everybody in the lineup. Yeah, it's going to be hard to beat them, to be honest. But like I said, at least it wasn't like Friday. Friday was a game you might as well have been. I actually had to watch the highlights because I was busy, and I'm glad I was busy because that was a nightmare of a game. That Friday night game was desperate. One of the worst hockey games I ever seen for the Habs. Just putrid. It was a pillow game. Sleep gets ease. I watched the highlights and then kind of glad I was tied up Friday night. But I watched tonight's game was a better response. But we still don't seem to. We're not in there in the Leafs category. So thank you for watching. Leave your comments. Tell me what you think, and we'll go from there. And I believe we have the Leafs once more and Ottawa once more. Then those should be full. I think, and I do think we're going to cut more by Monday. Honestly, I think you may see the rest of the players cut after tonight, who they decide to hold on to or who's getting cut. I think it will be decided this weekend by Monday, because they're going to start wanting to work with the regular rosters. Be lucky if they allow a couple of them to stick around for one more game. Anybody that they're still not decided on, that is. Couple shockers in there, like I told you. Shocked with Waugh and shocked with Davidson. Right? That really surprised me. I wasn't shocked with the defense, like Struble. Trudeau's much more ready than Struble. And I think Trudeau, out of the defenseman, if he could play right, he would have a chance of staying in Montreal. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe. Tell your friends and family, pass the word on, leave your comments. I always respond. And until the next episode, when we play the Leafs again, I'll do a tape then. And thank you for joining me, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Where's puck drop first? Here at Center Hice. Remember that. God bless.